Welcome students. Today I am going to start with lesson 12, composition and structure of the atmosphere. Let us first understand the meaning of the word atmosphere. So, what is atmosphere? Atmosphere is the blanket of air surrounding the earth, as you can see in this diagram. It exists in several layers, like you can see troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere. These layers become thinner at higher altitudes. Therefore, one finds it difficult to breathe as one goes up. Half of the total mass of air is found below 5 kilometers, touching the surface of the earth. It is held close to the earth by gravity. Let us understand the composition of the atmosphere. Air is a mixture of gases, water vapor, dust particles and smoke. The pure dry air mainly contains nitrogen 78% and oxygen 21%. Other gases are found in small quantities, and these include argon, carbon dioxide, neon, ozone, hydrogen, helium, methane, etc. Besides these gases, water vapor, dust particles, smoke, salt, etc. are also present in the air. Let us first understand the importance of oxygen. Oxygen is the most important gas, as all animals and human beings require it for respiration, that is, breathing. It is also essential for the combustion process. That is, oxygen is very important for burning to take place. Burning cannot occur in the absence of oxygen. Therefore, oxygen is very important. Nitrogen. Nitrogen dilutes the oxygen and slows down the process of oxidation. It is required by plants for their growth, but they cannot use it directly from the atmosphere. Plants obtain nitrogen from the soil, and animals obtain nitrogen by eating plants or other animals. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is very important even though it is present in extremely small quantities in the atmosphere. It has the ability to absorb terrestrial radiation and regulate the temperature of the lower atmosphere. It causes the greenhouse effect. The green plants absorb carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis. Next is water vapor. Water vapor also absorbs and transfers heat. The atmospheric water vapor is responsible for several forms of condensation, like clouds, fog, dew, frost, etc., and also for precipitation like rainfall, hail, snowfall, etc. The atmosphere also carries microscopic particles such as dust and salt particles, pollen from plants, ash from meteorites and volcanic eruptions, smoke from fire, and salt particles from the seas. Many of these microscopic solid particles act as hygroscopic nuclei. That means the water vapor in the atmosphere condenses on these solid particles. As a result, clouds form and precipitation takes place. The solid particles also scatter the sun's radiation during sunrise and sunset. Now let us understand the functions of the atmosphere. Air has weight and exerts pressure. It is called atmospheric pressure. As the atmosphere is constantly pressing down, it always remains in contact with land and water. Due to this physical contact between the atmosphere, the lithosphere, and hydrosphere, exchange of gases takes place between the three on a continuous basis. As a result, soil absorbs oxygen and nitrogen from the atmosphere due to this contact, Water from the oceans gets heated and water vapor rises in the air on account of evaporation. The carbon dioxide in the air is responsible for the greenhouse effect, as shown in this diagram. Therefore, the carbon dioxide helps in the absorption of heat and keeps the earth warm at night. Without carbon dioxide, the earth would be too cold to sustain life. So as shown in this diagram, the carbon dioxide and other gases in the atmosphere trap heat, keeping the earth warm. We have already discussed the greenhouse effect in great detail in lesson 18. The atmosphere is a dynamic entity. The word dynamic here means that the atmosphere is in a constant state of change and activity. Large masses of air are being moved up and down and across the surface of the earth. The energy of the sun is responsible for keeping the atmosphere in a dynamic state. Let us understand how this happens. This is because different regions on earth receive different amounts of heat from the sun. So, contrasts in temperature cause changes in air density, which are responsible for variations in atmospheric pressure. These variations in atmospheric pressure causes horizontal movement of air called winds. As we know, winds always move from high pressure to low pressure. Difference in temperature also causes the vertical movement of air, which is referred to as an air current. Now we start with our next topic, structure of the atmosphere. The atmosphere consists of concentric layers of air. Each layer has a different density. The upper layers press down on the lower layers, so the air of the lower layers is always heavier or denser, while the upper layers are thinner or less dense. So, 90% of the mass of the air lies within a height of 20 kilometers from the surface of the earth. On the basis of the characteristics of temperature and air pressure, there exist 4 thermal layers of the atmosphere. They are the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, and the thermosphere, which consists of ionosphere and exosphere. Troposphere. The troposphere is the lowermost and densest layer of the atmosphere. So this is the troposphere, which is the lowest and densest layer of the atmosphere. Its height varies from 18 kilometers at the equator to 8 kilometers at the poles. 75% of the atmosphere is found in the troposphere, and its concentration decreases as we go higher from ground level. The temperature in this layer decreases with the increasing altitude, roughly at the rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 166 meters of altitude gained. This is called the normal lapse rate. That is why you will find that hill stations are always cooler than plains, because as we go higher or as the altitude increases, the temperature decreases at the rate of 1 degree Celsius for every 166 meters of altitude gained. Water vapor and dust particles are found only in this layer. Troposphere is the most important layer because all weather phenomena like the formation of clouds, fog, frost, dew, blowing of winds, thunder, lightning, precipitation, storms, etc. occur in this layer. The troposphere is heated more from below than from above. This means that the troposphere is heated more by terrestrial radiation, that is the heat given out by the earth, than by the incoming insolation from the sun. The upper limit of the troposphere over here, as you can see in this diagram, the upper limit of the troposphere is called the tropopause, which is about 1.5 kilometers thick. The next layer is stratosphere. The stratosphere lies above the tropopause. So as you can see in this diagram, this is the tropopause, and the stratosphere lies above the tropopause and extends up to a height of 50 kilometers from sea level. In the stratosphere, the temperature increases with increase in altitude. As we have already seen in the troposphere, the opposite happens. As we go higher, the temperature falls. But in the stratosphere, it is the opposite. As we go to higher altitudes, the temperature increases. Temperature rises from minus 60 degrees Celsius at the base of the stratosphere to 0 degrees Celsius at the stratopause, which is here. The reason for this increase in temperature is due to the absorption of the ultraviolet radiation from the sun by the ozone, which is present in the stratosphere. The ozone is generally found between the altitudes of 20 and 50 kilometers. So between 20 and 50 kilometers, ozone is found. Ozone is formed due to the splitting of oxygen molecules by high energy ultraviolet radiations from the sun. The single oxygen atoms then combine with oxygen to form ozone. So as you can see over here, one oxygen molecule bombarded by ultraviolet radiation from the sun gets split into two oxygen atoms, and then a single oxygen atom combines with oxygen molecule to form O3 or ozone. The stratosphere does not contain water vapor and dust particles. Therefore, there is an absence of turbulence and weather phenomena. As a result, the lower part of the stratosphere is used for flying jet aircrafts. The upper limit of the stratosphere is known as stratopause. I conclude my lecture here. In today's video, I discussed the meaning of atmosphere, the composition of atmosphere, functions of the atmosphere, and we also discussed two layers of the atmosphere, that is troposphere and stratosphere. Thank you.